So for those who don't know, Sita is, well, I don't know if she's the only owner, I don't think that. You are, okay. Well, here she goes.
My fear of public speaking, I'm sorry. Hello, I'm Sita. I'm from Green Harvest. I'm the owner, and we manufacture and distribute, as I was here last year, for those of you who remember me from last year, we make pollinators, which I demonstrated, and we sell bubble lasers, which were hash making machines. Today, I'd like to speak on
Yeah, I just wanted, it's the full room.
Today, I wanted to speak about vaporizing. We all know that smoking is really frowned upon these days, and our doctors are mostly worried that our lungs are going to get completely full of tar. We've all heard one marijuana cigarette is worth a whole box of commercial cigarettes, and you really tar up your lungs fast if you smoke cannabis. Since I was last here, I was lucky enough to receive my own medical license for producing and using cannabis. So now I am really into vaporizing. The idea of vaporizing is that the little trichomes that are on your flowers, they're the ones that contain the active ingredient. When you heat them up, they release a vapor, sort of like an aromatherapy oil, but we can't capture the THC in an oil as such because the high heat that's required to make an essential oil essentially blows off the THC and you end up with a flower essential oil. So in order to capture the THCs in the essence, we need to heat it at a lower temperature. And there have been several devices invented, hundreds of devices invented lately that allow you to vaporize the cannabis without burning the leaf material and thus hurting your lungs. So I'm going to show you a couple today. So I was going to bring a volcano, but my own is broken, so I didn't get one. I tried to buy one at the store, but they didn't have one. So no volcanoes today, but this is an item very similar to a volcano. It is digital. It actually comes with a little remote control to turn it on and off. It has 3 speeds. And it has a bag system, so it has an air blower and it will blow up the bag. And it also has a whip. And everything that I sell on my website are products that we've tested. So when I first got the first advisor, we really found that the use of the whip is the best because, especially for medical users, we would find that the idea of the 3-speed fan combined with the whip, you don't even have to pull on it to inhale. So this would be really good for medical users that can't even inhale because it blows the smoke or the vapor right into your mouth. And it's also nice because you can pass it around on a table.
How much does it hold in one bowlful?
It's a very tiny bowlful, and it would be about maybe 6 to 8 inhalations. About the size. It has a bag as well, so about the size of a small bag. I also find that what you can do, and the Dutch people taught me this, and the Dutch themselves admit that they're cheap. When they vaporize the first bowl, they'll dump it out, and they'll squish it with their hands, and they'll put it back in the bowl, and you'll get more. And so if you ever try vaporizing your bowl twice. 3 times. Okay? So in addition to being very good for your lungs, it also saves your herb because you're not using nearly as much. Now when you roll a joint, there's some in the end you lose. Now as you're holding it, it's burning away. So this is a much a better use of your material. The riser is $300 compared to a Volcano, which is now $780, I was quoted this morning. And go on to the next item. I'm just really clumsy with glass. This is actually one of my favorites. The top part is a power supply, heating element. The next part is the bowl, and then you add water to it. And that, in addition to giving you vapor, refilters the vapor so you have absolutely no particles that go into your lungs. And this comes in, this is the small size, it's called a sphere, and there are a couple of tubes and a larger sphere. And they're quite expensive, and you have to be careful because they are glass. So if you're at all clumsy like me, you want to be really careful with them. And this is the newest little item that we have. It's a handheld vaporizer, and it has a very small chamber. You can all see that. And a heat element inside there. I'll be demonstrating this outside, so you can all give it a try. It is powered with lighter fluid. With the under pressure, what's that called? Butane, yes, sorry. It's powered with butane. It has an on-off switch. And the lighter, it's just like a lighter. And you'll see that the little red light comes on. And there's a catalytic converter so that all the butane burns off before it hits the heat injector that's in the cavity.
It's actually on right now.
It cycles on and off. And then if you want to be, what I like about this, it does look like sort of a cell phone. I mean, if you take the stem off and put it in your pocket, nobody will ever realize this is a vaporizer. And it's safe, you can't burn. It gets a little warm right where the converter is, but my hand's over it and it's not burning. It's made of plastic, it's really light. And yeah, it's one of my favorite new toys to carry around.
How much was that?
This one's $300. And I think it's worth every penny because it doesn't matter where you are, you can vaporize. I've tried it and there's absolutely no smell. Yes? Probably about the same amount as out of this. They're small cartridges. This one you could fill right up and you could have it for a whole day.
Yeah, that's mainly because we have several members in
Thank
you very much for bringing.
You're welcome. Yes?
Which would you say, including the Volcano and else, is like the easiest for people who might have some manual dexterity problems? Which is the easiest Volcano to use?
Manual dexterity, huh? They're all a little difficult when I think about it because this has a bowl that needs to be loaded. This has glass on glass that can tip over. Most likely this one, because you could, this is where you fill it. You could basically, if you just tamp this into a pile and then insert it this way, you'd have to try it. I'm not really good manual either. Okay, do you have any idea what other one would be good to use for somebody that's not very dexterous? Because a Volcano, I find like attaching the bag and